Hello and welcome back, my friends. Today I'm going to be sharing with you some very pertinent information that can help you to become the best version of a gardener you could possibly be. Stay tuned. So it really doesn't matter what line of work we're discussing here. Any professional, any tradesman, journeyman will tell you the same thing. Outside of their particular skill sets, the most important thing for them to perform their tasks to the best of their ability is going to be the tools that they have at their disposal. And gardening is in no way any different. Today I'm going to share with you the tools that I have in my bag and the common ways that I utilize them out in the garden to streamline the process of gardening, making it easier, more comfortable, ergonomic, and increasing my overall success. And you know, having the tools isn't good enough. You must be organized. You must have them ready to go when you need them, so you're not wasting time running around looking for your tools. So the first thing I want to point out to you here is my actual gardening tool bag. Now this is a quality waxed canvas heavy duty bag made by 𝗙𝗃𝗏. I'm very happy with this. It has 8 external pockets on the outside, has a large area inside to hold some of your items, and the bag itself is weather resistant. It's resistant to water and dirt. I love the color of this bag, the functionality of it. It stands up on its own. It's quite rigid. It's easy to wipe down on the inside. So I do highly recommend, as you build your gardening toolkit up, start off with a quality bag like this. You'll be happy you did. So another thing I love about this bag is it has this nice bungee cord that goes through, which locks all your tools in place. So the first tool I'm going to share with you here is my 𝗙𝗃𝗿𝗁 Hori Hori tool. If I was going to start off by purchasing just one gardening hand tool, this would be it, hands down. It can perform so many different tasks. It's a very strong, rugged tool made of stainless steel, and it has a tang that extends all the way down through the wooden handle. So unlike many common garden trowels where if you end up prying on it too much, you can end up bending it right at the neck, this tool right here is almost indestructible unless you really abuse it. And it has a rather sharp serrated edge as well, which makes it very easy as you're digging down to cut through roots or even cut through plants. So one of the most common ways that I utilize this tool is to pop up unwanted weeds in the garden. You can see here we've got a bit of bindweed, it looks like. We'll just scooch back some of the wood chips, and then you can really work this down deep and not worry about bending it. And you can pop up those weeds, get the whole root out. It just makes it easy to really follow the root regardless of how deep it is and get the whole thing out. Try to do that with your typical trowel. You'll bend it in no time. So we got those entire roots out, but you can see how it's very useful as well for planting. It's very easy to work even the heaviest of soils with this tool and prepare it for planting, clear it out of weeds, rocks, what have you. And it also conveniently comes with a measuring stick. So if you're planting bulbs or some other depth specific plant, you can easily measure down how far you need to go. All in all, the Hori Hori is worth every penny. I highly recommend it. All right, so next I'm going to share with you this tool right here. This is a Japanese weeding sickle, and I made a sheath for it because it is very pointy and sharp at the end. But this tool is quite amazing. So this blade is made out of high carbon steel. It's very tough, and it's wonderful for weeding and cultivating a garden. Check it out. I find this tool to be especially useful for raised bed gardens. I actually just recently utilized this tool on these raised beds over here to de-weed and cultivate, get it ready for planting. That's why you don't see any weeds in here, but it does a good job of just popping them up. That sharp edge there will cut right through any stubborn roots. As you can see, not a weed on this mound. These are cilantro volunteers. We'll leave those there. But the low profile makes it easy to get in between rows as well. and pull out some weeds. Once you begin using this Japanese weeding sickle, you'll wonder how it is you went so long without this in your gardening toolbox. And the sheath, I just made this out of some cardboard and camo tape. Alright, so next we have some very common items here. This is a hand claw cultivator tool. This particular cultivator I've had for many years. It's made of stainless steel, has a wood handle. This is great for loosening up soil, breaking up dirt clods, aerating the soil, working in nutrients. And one of my favorite ways to utilize this tool is to tend to my worm bin. This just allows me to pull back some of the material without getting my hands down deep in there, and see how things are going. I can move this stuff around, put some fresh food for the worms underneath. As you can see, we've got some beautiful activity occurring in this worm bin here. Overall, a very handy tool. I wouldn't want to go without. And that's sitting here right next to this hand trowel, which I'll be honest with you, I don't use this very often anymore since I've got some upgraded tools that perform the same tasks, but still nice to have on hand. Again, made out of stainless steel, wood handle, and this is mainly good for digging into looser soil, getting it prepared and ready for planting. A timeless gardening tool that most of you are probably not only familiar with, but already have in your arsenal. So this tool here, called the soil scoop, is one of those tools that has really taken the place of my garden trowel. This tool is made out of premium stainless steel. It has a rubber comfort grip. It's very ergonomic, has many different uses in the garden. Just like with the Hori Hori, we got some serrated edges on this tool. So while you're digging or creating furrows for some seed planting, you can scrape right through those roots and cut them off. But it really makes a great all-in-one tool. You can scoop materials if you're adding in nutrients or fertilizers into the garden. It does a great job digging and working in materials, and this motion is one of my favorite ways to use it because, like I said, those serrated edges will rip right through any unwanted weeds or roots that are in the path. But if you want to just dig out a hole for planting, the curved scoop of this tool makes it very easy to get down and dig your hole. And if you're making some seed furrows, some little trenches for planting, it's also wonderful for that. But a very versatile tool, made right here in the USA, solid construction, performs multiple tasks. I can't recommend this tool enough. Now here we've got a tool that's been around a very long time. And this is called a Cobra head weeder cultivator tool. This is a newer addition to my toolbox. I always thought it to be a little bit pricey, but once I got it in my possession and I began to use it, I realized this is another invaluable tool. I'm so happy that I have this. This makes quick work out of so many tasks, whether it's weeding, cultivating, preparing the ground for planting. I'm going to show you how I like to use it. It gets down really deep, and almost effortlessly, it pulls up the soil, loosening it up. We're going right into some hard soil, unworked, right here in the pathway, just to show you. We're down to some cardboard there, how it just pulls right through. And it's so comfortable, very ergonomic. I actually really enjoy using this tool in conjunction with my Japanese weeding tool. After loosening up an area, I can go through and quickly dice it up. So really, the perfect combination, like Dayton's and Vogue's. Next, we've got another sickle here, and this is more of a harvest knife weeding sickle, chopping, dropping plants, especially with ornamental grasses, things like lemongrass or something like sugarcane. I love using this to chop down big clumps of comfrey all in one swoop. I've had this for many years, and although it's a thin, lightweight tool, it has held up remarkably well. But we have a serrated steel blade here, and let me show you an example of how I like to use this. So back over here in this corner, we've got a lemongrass plant, which is pretty much died back for the winter. But it's just the foliage. The roots are alive, and it's going to start emerging with some fresh green growth, like you can see here, as the weather warms up. So what I like to do every year, late winter, before this plant wakes up, is come around, grab it by the base, and give it a nice, fresh, flush cut. Now you can see all those stalks, and oh boy, does that smell good. The fragrance, those essential oils from the lemongrass are now spreading through this area. And lemongrass, by the way, makes an excellent chop and drop mulch. You could use it in place of straw to help to protect the soil from the sun, the heat, help lock in some of the moisture. And this material lasts a long time, much longer than straw. Anyway, just another very valuable low-cost tool. I've had this one for over a decade. It's definitely paid for itself throughout the years. All right, so in these end pockets here, I have a fine point Sharpie marker. This will mark paper, plastic, metals. These are especially great for marking plastic tags when you're doing seeding trays. Also in here, we have a pair of needle nose shears, gardening scissors. These are great for harvesting fruit, anything with a smaller stem, or deadheading flowers, cutting back buds. This will be my hand soap for tonight. Really any smaller detail work throughout the garden. This is also good for cutting fabrics, although I have a different pair of scissors that I prefer here in that same pocket. So I prefer these scissors for cutting through many of the gardening fabrics that I use, whether it's weed block material, row cover, and these are medical shears scissors. For one thing, what I like about it is it has a blunt tip, so you can actually carry these around in your pocket, no issues there. They're commonly made from stainless steel or alloy steel, and they're used in the medical industry to cut through bandages, tape, clothing, gauze. So fabrics like row cover, it'll make a nice clean cut. Goes through just like butter. And it also cuts through heavier duty weed block and weed fabric as well. So if you're still here, I appreciate you guys sticking around through the duration of this video. We're almost through here. Just got a few more things to share with you. Now here's something I could definitely not live without, and that is my Felco F2s. So these hand pruners, or secateurs, were originally established in Switzerland 70 years ago. They're made out of high quality hardened steel. They're lightweight, metal handles, ergonomic, fits in the hand nicely, overall lightweight, very easy to use, sharp, holds up. These are built for a lifetime. The old saying, you get what you pay for, well, that really rings true with the Felco pruners. These are a lifetime product. They have a great warranty as well. I believe it's a lifetime warranty through the company. I'm not sure because I've never had to use it. I've had these for many years. But you can do virtually an entire pruning job on your fruit trees in your yard with this tool alone. You may need a handsaw as well, but for most of the new growth, it just cuts right through, and it's very easy to be precise with your cut. And what a clean cut it does produce when you keep them nice and sharp. And speaking of sharp, we're going to dip inside the bag really quick, and I'm going to share with you my favorite sharpening tool for sharpening all my different gardening tools that may need to be sharpened. So this little tool here So nice. It's low profile, so you can easily get in where you need to sharpen up your blades. It has a carbide tip that lasts an extremely long time. I've had this for so many years. And this will work for hand pruners, tree loppers, or even some of the weeding tools with a sharp edge on them. And really just a few swipes is all it takes. Not only does that make it extremely sharp, but it cleans up the edge of the blade as well. Anyway, keep your tools nice and sharp, and you'll produce beautiful clean cuts that keep your plants nice and healthy. And of course, you got to have the holster with your Felcos that'll clip right onto your belt or even just the waistline of your pants. And behind my secateurs here, I have a pair of 10-inch tongue and groove pliers. These are made of steel. These are good for all sorts of tasks around the garden, loosening up sprinkler heads or hose end sprayers. Sometimes they really get stuck, almost welded on the end of your hose. This will make quick work out of removing them. And it's adjustable. They also come in handy if you need to bend a piece of metal for whatever reason or tighten it up. So if you're working with hog panels, concrete reinforcement mesh, chicken wire, what have you, these can help you. All right, next up, we have a couple different saws. We have the 𝗙𝗃𝗏𝗃 hand saw, and this is packed in a heavy-duty canvas sheath here. Now this saw is very compact, lightweight, and functions wonderfully. I've had this for many years. So 7-inch hardened high carbon steel blade, aluminum handle. It has a comfort grip molding on the outside, very ergonomic. It packs up nice. It's got both a heavy duty belt loop and a pack strap. If you want to attach this onto a backpack, you can take this outside of the garden with you. If you're out on a hike, a camping trip where you may need a saw on hand, this is a great little tool. But for precision and precise cuts, this right here is the absolute best saw I've ever used. This is the Pocketboy made by Silky. Now they make many different types. This particular saw is a 130mm fine tooth saw. This is wonderful for pruning fruit trees with precision, like I said. Really clean cuts exactly where you want them. Look at that low profile. It has a rust-resistant, hardened chrome-plated blade, non-slip, rubberized handle. Being lightweight and so low profile, you can get it exactly where you want it. It literally cuts through the wood like butter. And look at the clean cut that produces. Your trees are going to love you if you give them the Silky treatment. And you simply press this lever here, close it up. It has this flip lock carrying case which will keep it out of the weather. And it comes with this belt clip as well, so you can clip it onto your hip if you're out in the field. All right guys, well, we're almost to the end here. Here we've got a 16-foot tape measure. This comes in handy for various garden tasks, whether you're lining out a new garden bed, cutting a particular size piece of fabric, making tomato cages, what have you. A measuring tape is always nice to have on hand, as is a flathead screwdriver. Now this is a 1/4 inch by 4-inch flathead. Now if you're like me, you've probably got a lot of different hose clamps throughout your garden on your hose ends, or if you have automatic watering systems set up. Once in a while they become loose and they begin to drip, or you need to cut out and replace a section of hose. You're going to need a flathead screwdriver for that. And here I have a little natural wooden handle brush. This is great for manually pollinating some of your flowering fruiting crops, things like pomegranates, feijoa. You can go around to your different flowers and dab your brush around right into the center, and this is going to help you to get an even greater fruit set if you're having issues with that. I've actually got plenty of bee activity in my garden, so I usually don't have to resort to this. But if you do notice you're having a lack of bees, or you've had smaller fruit sets in the past, you may want to invest in a little brush like this, a paintbrush, what have you, and try a bit of manual pollination. All right, so last but definitely not least, I've got a different variety of work gloves here. First off, I have just my standard pair of leather gardening gloves. These are a must-have. If you're working around the garden, you're going to be around sharp objects, you're going to be doing all sorts of different tasks. Stay safe, stay comfortable, wear a nice thick leather glove and protect yourself. I also recommend getting yourself a pair of these gauntlet gardening gloves that cover up the forearm. Again, made out of leather. They're going to protect your entire arm. So when you're doing pruning around plants that have a tendency to poke you, that are thorny or have sharp tips, things like roses, pomegranates are another one, goji berries, these protective sleeves make the task so much more enjoyable and safe. You'll end up finishing your pruning job without any cuts or scratches on your arms. And finally, my favorite gardening glove for most light-duty gardening tasks, whether it's planting, digging, soil prep, these cotton gloves here just offer that extra layer of skin around your hands, and you almost forget that they're there. But not only do they protect you from cuts and scrapes, but they also keep the dirt out from under your nails and from staining your hands. If you work out in the garden for hours at a time, you're going to get dry, cracky hands if you're coming in contact with your soil throughout the day. So protect your skin. These gloves do a great job doing that. You can get them in bulk at about 65 cents a pair. That's how I prefer to get mine. I've always got them on hand. These are new, fresh ones. And here's a pair that I have in my pocket that I've been using. You can get weeks and weeks out of a single pair. And that looks like everything in my gardening tool bag. With everything nice and organized like this, you just grab your gardening tool bag when you head out to the garden, set it on a bench or a table nearby, and you know where everything is. You can instantly go grab the tool you need for the task that you're involved with. It's going to speed up the process and make it that much more enjoyable. And don't think you have to run out and get all these tools at once. This is the culmination of many years of trial and error with different tools, building up this particular set. I wanted to share it with you. If you can even reward yourself with just one new gardening tool a season, I think that's a great way to go. So what do y'all think? Do you like these tools? Do you use any of them? Is there a tool that you use that I didn't feature today that you would recommend? Let me know down in the comments below. We love hearing from you. And if you did get something out of today's video, you found it helpful or entertaining in any way, be sure to smash that thumb button for us. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel. New uploads every week, sometimes every day. And I'm always giving you updates on all the different things growing on around here. So with that, thanks for watching. Have yourself a good one. Until next time, this is Dan from plantabundance.com. Take care. I'll be talking to you again soon.